These are the top 10 things you don't know, but probably should about Cedar Point. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. Let's go. First of all, right behind me here is the parking lot to Cedar Point. Did you know that there are 2 different ways to even get into Cedar Point? Most people would only think the roads, and there, even with that, are 2 different roads to come in, not just the main drive, but there is a side drive that's connected all the way down here. You can actually see it right there, because this was always a peninsula. That new road that was built, that road, although it's not that new, it was over water when it was first built. And it is now the second way to drive into Cedar Point. But beyond that, if you go this direction, you could actually take a ferry into Cedar Point also. The ferry was the original way to get into Cedar Point before they had either of the 2 drives that are behind me right now. That was the only way that you got onto Cedar Point when this was just a vacation watering hole destination. But you also can now take, of course, the 2 roads. If you're taking especially the main road, the main Cedar Point Drive, then definitely stay. At this point, it looks like to the right. For some reason, people have stopped only congregating in the right hand, and they're now staying to the left most of the time. But either way, there are extra lanes that are going to open up. To the right, there are tons of lanes, and to the left, there are just a couple. You can enter, though, through the resorts-only lanes to get into this main parking lot also, and that's sometimes a little bit better, especially if you have a Prestige Pass to get into the Prestige lot. Did you know that Cedar Point has 4 separate entrances and also 4 different places whose sole purpose is customer service? First, let's start with the entrances. The entrances, first off, the main entrance is right behind me right here. We also have one on the marina, and we have 2 right off the boardwalk. One right underneath Windseeker and one right next to Magnum. Now, the reason why I say that there are 4 different guest experience places is because there are 2 right behind me, one right here and one on the inside of the park also. Right now, you'll already see a long line waiting out in front of the guest services here in the front of the park, and that's because it's the beginning of the day. So if it's at all possible, go inside the park for guest service questions or anything that you need done with those. However, sometimes that's not possible because you may need passes, or you may need something went wrong and you don't have your tickets, whatever it is that's happening. Those kinds of things, of course, you have to work out here in the front. But if it's at all possible, go inside. At the end of the day, on the other hand, come to the outside of the park, because the inside will have a line, but the outside will not, because people will come to the first guest experience place that they see right before they get there. Now, the other one up here at the front of the park is not necessarily guest services, but it is the ticket booths. For tickets or group sales, you can come here to get your questions answered. Of course, these are all sold online also. Those are other options, but you can do those right here also. So we've got 1 entrance and 3 customer service stations down at this point. Where is our last customer service and our other 3 entrances? Actually, sometimes there's something that I didn't think about while writing my script. And this is one of those. For customer service issues, you can also come right here. This is the accessibility services and also Fun Picks. They both kind of work together. You can get whatever you need to help you during your day if you are here. So if you have some sort of limited ability, or you have something that's going to make your day kind of difficult here, food needs, diet needs, different things like that, this is the place to come to get those issues solved for you. Another thing you may not know is that Cedar Point is a cashless entity. We do not do cash at all here anymore. I don't love it. I would much rather there be cash rather than it be a cashless place. I mean, if you're touching a debit card, then how does that make any difference in comparison to touching cash? There is no difference. It's not actually healthier, but that's just my 2 cents on it. But there are some things that Cedar Point does to make things a little bit easier on you, so that if you do bring cash in, or you bring cash, like say you give each of your kids 20 bucks to spend during the day, and they kind of can split up with you if you have some teenagers, then you can find other ways to get cards for those people who may need them as a replacement for cash. The thing that Cedar Point has is the Ready Station. Ready Stations is how you convert cash to card. So if all you did was bring in cash and you wanted to spend whatever you wanted to spend with it, you have to put that onto a card here. The cash will go in right here and the card will come out right here. You can also insert credit cards and things like that if you wanted to, so that then you can actually use those credit cards to partition out your money if you'd like to do that for different kids or whoever else in your party may need a little bit of cash, but you only have one card to split as a family. If that is the case and you are splitting off anyway, then you can do it right here. And I have a whole tutorial on the channel of this also, so go check that out if you would like to. Also, those machines are found all over the park, as you can see right here. Here are several examples. So if at any point you need either another card or you need another card for another person, you can get those at any point inside the park. A lot of people love the skip the line service offered here at Cedar Point and at all Cedar Fair parks that is called Fast Lane. However, did you know that there are 3 different ways to experience this offering here at this park? The first way you can experience this service is by buying it online. Cedar Point offers for sale Fast Lane only online or often online. On the day of, you actually can buy it inside one of the stores. It's encouraged, I think, and often a little bit cheaper to buy it online instead. However, that doesn't stop me every once in a while on a really busy day from buying Fast Lane the day of. Another Fast Lane experience that Cedar Point offers is individual Fast Lane. Now, individual Fast Lanes are Fast Lanes that you buy individually, much like the name says. But you can buy them on the app. So when you go into the app, you will see them all listed. Some of them may say close, some of them may say open, they may say how long each of their lines are. And above them, you can press a little button that says Fast Lane available for this. Now, I believe that means that they could potentially say that Fast Lane is not available for any of those offerings at their will. If anything needed to happen, if the line was too long, whatever it was, if that experience was not living up to what it needed, then they could cut it off from that. But as long as it says that Fast Lane is available, then you can buy Fast Lane for that ride. So if that's something that would make your day a little bit easier, it's actually probably a little bit of a cheaper option rather than spending $200 per day for your Fast Lane. Instead, you can pay something like 30 bucks to ride one of the rides without any wait at all, just like that. And then maybe you only have 2 rides that you need to do that on and everything else has a little bit shorter lines. Well, that's a much cheaper option rather than spending the amount of money that you could end up spending for Fast Lane Plus. Speaking of, that is another thing that is offered here at Cedar Point. There are 2 different tiers of Fast Lanes that you can do. The first tier is just regular Fast Lane. Just regular Fast Lane will not include the big name rides that are on the skyline right behind me right here. So it will not include Top Thrill 2, it will not include Millennium Force, it will not include Maverick, and it will not include Steel Vengeance. So those 4 rides will not be included with Fast Lane. However, it will be included with Fast Lane Plus. So you'll get access to every other ride that is included in Fast Lane, but with Fast Lane Plus, you also get access to Top Thrill 2 and those rides that I just listed. Now, one last way that you can use a Fast Lane is if you have Prestige Pass. With your Prestige Pass, you get access to 1 Fast Lane every single day, every time that you enter the gates. So it really is a great cost savings and very helpful because there may just be 1 ride that you want to skip each time that you come, especially if you come very often. So that's definitely a nice part with Prestige Pass, but it is not something that everybody gets to experience. Okay, so this is very annoying. It says on the app for every single coaster that has fast lane and that is open, that fast lane is available. Then you dig deeper into it. First of all, you can't just press on it. You actually have to go into your wallet, and then you have to, from there, select individual fast lane. It's pretty confusing. You would think it could be a little bit more user-friendly, especially considering that it is a brand new website, a brand new app that they've made. But then beyond that, every single one of them, after you click on them, says fast lane unavailable, fast lane unavailable, fast lane unavailable. And it's their prerogative as to whether or not they want to sell it or not, but if it's going to say under their fast lane available underneath each coaster, I'm sure that means like available in the colloquial sense, like it's in theory it is available, but that's really annoying that it says it's available and then you dig into it and you're like, oh, never mind, it's not available. I guess I can't do that. Now, one other way that they have that you can use to get fast lanes is these machines right here. So these little spots right here, you can use these to get in. I don't really understand how they work. They have to do with paper fast lanes though. So if you wanted to get in, I believe you scan your card, but I don't know that I have seen a single person use them successfully. So we're gonna try to do something with it and see what happens. There you go. Oh wow. Oh, because this is single use. Well, okay. Single use is what I get with my fast lane. Now, I didn't mean to use it here. Oh, but I can use it for any of them. It's not just for this one either. So I'll just save this for later. There are far too many teenagers here for this now 37-year-old. I'm now 37 years old, guys. Can you believe it? Did you know that Cedar Point is not the only attraction on this peninsula? Well, we're gonna go find out 2 of the others, so come along with me, let's go. Just outside this gate, there is another place to go visit out at the Cedar Point Marina. Outside of Cedar Point, there are several things out here to do. Famous Dave's is one of those restaurants, and there are tons of walking paths that'll take you really far. There's also a place where you can even board your dog here at Cedar Point for a very nominal fee. Like, I think it's like $15 for the entire day. Like I said, you have Famous Dave's. You also have the Marina Bay Harbor Marina restaurant, which is a like nice, classy restaurant outside of Cedar Point's gates. And of course, all this space to have picnics, to sit around, talk, hang out a little bit. If you wanted to pack a lunch or you wanted to buy a lunch, right down here at they have a little convenience store right down here, then you could do that with any of these things. Back here on the pier is where the Cedar Point Ferry will pick you up. Now, this ferry will take you to downtown Sandusky and it will take you to the islands. We will talk about the islands later, but let's see if they have any information in here also. Yeah, so inside there then, they also have all this information about the ferry, so you can choose your route or things like that. Also, all that information is online, but you can find that inside this store here at Cedar Point. And right here is the second entrance to Cedar Point on our little scavenger hunt here. I don't see anybody in here, and I've never seen or bought tickets from this ticket area, but there is also a ticket area here too. Like I said, I've never seen it, so I'm not going to say that that's something everybody can use, but this is the entrance. There's just so much that you can do, even in this little spot, and that's not even talking about the beach. On the other side of the park exists this exit / entrance. Now this entrance takes you out to Cedar Point Beach. So we've already discussed the entrances, and now we're discussing the beach. Cedar Point Beach has a whole bunch of hotels on it, also some places to eat, but basically within the park. This is kind of like a special pavilion to eat in. Out here, there is a boardwalk that will take you past Cedar Point. Lots of nice areas on Cedar Point, including the pavilion. It's also just a great walkway that gives you great views of the beach also. Oh, they also have some beach chairs too here. They have not had those for the last several years. I've hung out here so many different times, including last night. Got to hang out here. This is a great place to come and hang out. It has several pools, but none of that is available for people who are not guests of Breakers. However, the sandbar, the bars inside, the restaurants inside, like TGI Fridays right here. The bands that play out here during the heat of the summer, and just the beach itself, those are all things that are available for anybody to use. And I think often people discount it. They think that, well, I'm not part of the hotel, so I can't be a part of this. No, this is for you as much as it is for hotel guests. This is the fabric that Cedar Point was founded on. Cedar Point started as a beach resort, as a place where people wanted to come just to hang out for a great weekend getaway here in Sandusky, because it was a place full of beaches where they could hang out. And then you also had some forests right behind you, some bathhouses, and then piece by piece they started adding one attraction at a time. Coming out here is honoring Cedar Point's legacy. For the last couple days, I've been wondering why the boardwalk was closed here, but it's because they're getting rid of some stuff here. Those slides that I said last year were always closed. Those are coming down. As a matter of fact, it looks like they're mostly down right now. I didn't really even take a moment to look at that, but that's why. Because those slides are down now. I'm sure they're taking stuff away from over there. There are just so many people here. For a rainy day in particular, at the beginning of the season, it's not the opening weekend. I'm surprised at how many people are here. And our last entrance today, right underneath the bottom of Top Thrill 2, is this entrance over here by Magnum. We really usually call it the Magnum entrance. Our fourth entrance here into the park. Let's go. Also our fourth, but really I guess now our fifth customer service place, because we did find the ADA pass area also, but yeah, one more spot where you can get a little bit of customer service. Again, not sure how often it's open either, and then you can always come in through this gate. You guys will want to wait till the end of this video for my biggest trick here at Cedar Point, and the one that's going to save you the most money. So let's get into this and let's go. Here's a band. I like these guys a lot. The sixth thing that you should know about Cedar Point but might not is that they have two different first aid stations. Both of them are expansive and have plenty of room inside for whatever may be happening, and they will take great care of you. We're gonna go find both of them right now. So here is the very first first aid station that exists here inside Cedar Point. You can come here. There's all kinds of stuff inside, including even waters. If you're just dehydrated or anything like that, this is a great place to go to get yourself feeling a little bit better. This first aid station is at the back of Frontier Town. It is in the area where it would have been the most disconnected and still is the most disconnected from the front of the park. You have one at the front, you also have one at the back, but we haven't talked about the one from the front. We're gonna take the train in order to get up there. Here comes the train, and I'm too lazy to stand up, so I'm just gonna sit here and watch it come in. My legs are so tired. Let's hop on the train, let's go. Got a little bit of a nap on the train, which was fantastic. Now we're off to one more place where you can get first aid if you ever need it. Back then, right now, at Red Garter Saloon, opens May 18th. Wow, that's early. I bet it's just a band, but still, that'd be really fun. All kinds of stuff to help you. Family Care Center and First Aid are both over here in Planet Snoopy. So once again, if you need anything, this is your spot to come visit. Right next to the store here. Keep walking just a little bit and you'll find this first aid station here. Now I've gone in just because the back of my foot was rubbing raw, so I got a little bandage. There are multiple times when you might need their services, and don't feel shy about it. They're not going to tell you to not come in. Just whatever you need, you can get inside here. All right, so inside there also, they have a whole family care area where you can get all kinds of things. So they actually have like a play area for kids. They have a nursing mothers area. They have a baby changing area. They have a couple family bathrooms. And they also have, of course, first aid also in there. So whatever you may need as a family, especially if you're like a single mother or just a mother here in the park, this is a great place to come if you have those littles that need a spot to be able to even take their nap, relax a little bit, things like that. That's where you need to go. So definitely go utilize those services. First of all, on my way, I am gonna go grab some merch. It's a cold day and I've been eyeing this sweater for a while. Here it is, but now can I find the right size? Well, I wonder why it won't open today. It seems like they would continuously try to get it to open, especially on the, I think, second Saturday of the year. The racing store is where I just came from. And speaking of the racing store, I did just get a sweater, and sweater is acquired and on me now, so I'm a little bit warmer. But also, speaking of the racing store, we are going to talk about a few little quirks of Top Thrill 2, including this. But I did get a sweater. It's got racing stripes down the side, and I love the back, full of all of the layouts of all of Cedar Point's rides. All right, now inside TT2, first of all, you cannot bring anything into TT2. That means no bags, that means no cameras, that means no phones, that means no extra cards, that means no wallets, that means no glasses unless they have a strap, that means no anything other than the clothes that are specifically on your body. You can buy single-use fast lane, or maybe you can't, because it's using the same verbiage. Single-use fast lane now available, but that does not mean that it's actually able to be purchased right now. Scan to buy in the Cedar Point app, and like I said, none of them were options that were there. for Cedar Point. None of the rides had single-use fast lane actually available today. Now, one absolutely massive issue with Top Thrill 2 is Cedar Point is a beach park. We've already seen the beach today. A lot of people come to Cedar Point wearing sandals or especially flip-flops. But you cannot wear flip-flops on Top Thrill 2. If you do, you will not be allowed to ride Top Thrill 2. So it is very, very important that people know this. Now, in the coaster community, that's already made its rounds. We already heard this weeks ago, and we understand it. But the majority of just Bob and Joanne coming to Cedar Point are not going to realize that that is a rule that Cedar Point has implemented, and that is hard and fast. You do need to make sure that you do not bring flip-flops if you want to ride this ride, or if you're wearing flip-flops, that you put something else in a bag with you that you can wear when it comes time. You cannot take your flip-flops off, you cannot leave them to the side, you cannot leave them in a locker for the line. You do have to put stuff where you need it to be. So it is definitely something that's gonna take a lot of educating of people for that to be the case, because it's not really something that most parks have done in the past. Now, if you have anything with you, including this camera that I'm filming with right now, you do have to put those things in a locker. Anything that you have has to go in a locker. Hats, glasses, all of that. The lockers are $3 for a 2-hour stint. I'm not sure what happens if your line is longer than that 2-hour stint, but that is what I know it costs. My recommendation is always to go to another locker, but you can definitely go to these lockers also. Just sometimes they get more bogged down, and sometimes also they run out of lockers. Like I said, if it's open, it is worth the experience. It's worth the $3. It's worth the inconvenience of having to go buy shoes or bringing in an extra pair. It is worth all of those little things. Before we get to our last couple of points, please press the subscribe button, like. Also go check out Patreon. For $1 a month, you can get extra content every single week. I release a new Patreon video that's exclusive to Patreon every single Sunday. So go check it out. There's also other things. You can have voting privileges, and if you want to go with different tiers, it is all in between $1 to $7. So it's not too much, but you get quite a bit in return for supporting the channel. So if you want to support the channel, please go check that out. Also, we have a meet and greet happening on June 8th. It's going to be so much fun. That's for, I don't know, 15,000, 10,000, or 5,000 subscribers, because we've hit all those marks over the last couple months. And I'm just really excited to hang out with you guys. It'll be on June 8th on the beach at Cedar Point here. So come and join us. That's going to be a blast. And lastly, comment. Please tell me what you want to know about Cedar Point. Are there more things? Do you want to know more trivial type things? Do you want to know specifics for your vacation? If you have questions, I want to hear those questions down below. I'm here to answer those questions, and I will answer them as quickly as I possibly can so that you guys know exactly what to expect when you come on your Cedar Point vacation. And don't worry about repeating questions. I know a lot of Facebook groups are like, do not ask the same question, go look through it. I don't care. I have so many videos, guys. I don't expect you to parse through all of them. Ask me the stupid question. That's okay. I'm never gonna make fun of you for any kind of question that you ask. I want to hear from you guys. It helps the algorithm, and it helps the channel when you comment. So don't worry about it. You're never doing something where, as long as it's in good faith, you're asking any question that I'm not going to answer. Obviously, there are all kinds of places to eat here at Cedar Point. Coaster's Diner, the Farmhouse Kitchen and Grill, Hugo's. We have tons of different restaurants, and there are still more. If you leave the gates of Cedar Point, there are still multiple different restaurants, and we've kind of touched on this just a little bit when we talked about the marina and the beach, but you can go to a hibachi grill, which I just had last night, and it's fantastic. You can go to Bay Harbor, which is another restaurant on the marina. Also, there are several different options. There's TGI Fridays out on the beach. There are 2 bars out on the beach also. Definitely some fun places to go visit, and not everybody knows that they exist or that they are available to anyone with admission to this park, or really just admission to the parking lot. Also, speaking of the marina, from the marina you can hop onto a ferry. That ferry will take you to several different islands. Here we have Kelleys Island and we have Put-in Bay. Now those are not specifically associated with Cedar Point, but they are somewhat connected via ferry. And you can go to those 2 different places from here. Now, if you wanted to go to Put-in Bay, you would have to go through Kelleys Island, and then you'd have to pick up another ferry and go from there. But it's still a really, really fun place to go visit, and it would be a place that I think would be worthwhile to go check out. Now, my biggest tip for someone who is either a casual observer of Cedar Point or is a first-time attender of Cedar Point is wait to buy your pass until fall, or maybe like August. A lot of times it depends a little bit on the time of year and what they actually do with Cedar Point, because it's at their disposal, of course, with what they want to do and how they want to charge for their tickets and their passes. But at Cedar Point, often you can get a really great deal on a pass if you come later on in the season. So if you're only planning on coming one time for this season, but maybe if you like it, you'd like to come for a couple of times next year, you can buy a pass this August, potentially, probably, for your full amount, probably $99, sometimes a little bit more than that, and it will give you the ability to come back next year also all year long. So you'll have a gold pass not just for this year and for the fall of this year, but you'll also have a pass next year as well. So definitely worthwhile to consider that and do that if this is something that you haven't done every single year, but maybe you're, wading into it a little bit and you want to know if it's something that you'd really enjoy. It's a great way to get some savings on it and to be able to enjoy 2 years in a row of coming to Cedar Point. And that's about it for our discussion of Cedar Point. Like I said, please let me know if there are questions that you guys have about this place. I would love to answer those for you, and I answer as quickly as I possibly can. Also, all of these tips are documented in length multiple times, but I will put some of the more prominent videos down below in the description. So go check those out. If you have a specific spot that you really want to learn a little bit more about, I will put a video where I've talked specifically about those points in past videos. So you really know exactly what to expect when you come here to Cedar Point. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I hope you guys learned something. I certainly had some fun with you guys, and let's go! Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!